What up, y'all? Another day, another OpenClaw video and update. So one thing I'm noticing, I hopped on a call today with someone who I'm in a group with, and basically the context of the conversation was, why am I not getting the same results from my OpenClaw, or why does my OpenClaw feel stupid in comparison to what you're saying your OpenClaw is able to do for you on a daily basis? So if you have already installed OpenClaw, you understand that the first awakening, or when it wakes up, it says, hey, yeah, I just woke up. Who am I and what are you? And that is where you want to brain dump everything that you're working on that you need OpenClaw's help with, or even just brain dump things that you personal life, business life, future aspiration, and goals. So it kind of has a baseline of what exactly it is that you're trying to accomplish with OpenClaw and what you're trying to automate. What this person was doing also was they were having one conversation in Telegram, and then a few other sessions, but it was kind of all being discombobulated, right? If you're using OpenClaw, if you're a tech guy, we live in an ADHD world. I definitely have ADHD, so I'll be working on one project with OpenClaw, and then squirrel, I have 4 other things that come to mind based off of what I'm currently doing that I want to work on, and it's adding all of that to the session context. So it's trying to keep track of too much at one time, and it's leaving you having a dumbed down version of your OpenClaw agent. So what I like to do is I have my Telegram chat, my main kind of chat with the bot, as my second brain. So I'm putting in their notes, I'm putting in their reminders, I'm putting in their kind of daily briefing stuff, updates on my Shopify store and account, my client accounts, things like that. And then I'm basically keeping that channel open, that session open for just kind of day-to-day nonsense, right? Just things that pop up into my mind, things I want to do, books I'm reading, quotes I see, videos I want to watch, etc. And then in Discord is where I have my Discord server set up, and each group of channels is for one business that I'm working on. So one is for Grow House, which is my agency. I have one group of channels for my clients. I have one group of channels for everything that's on my own personal e-commerce business. So some of those channels would be ops, all things operations, workflows, SOPs, VA management, things like that. And then I have one that's all copywriting, essentially. So it's a copywriting channel. I then have one that's an ads channel that's monitoring my Triple Whale, Google Analytics, and my Meta and TikTok ad accounts. So that's all things ads are in one channel of Discord. Let's see, I have one thing that's web, just for my headless website. That's all going through that one channel. And then I have copywriting to the web. Oh, tools. So all the internal tools that I had my agent build out for us. If I need to troubleshoot those, that's all in one kind of tools category, because we're usually building one tool at a time and troubleshooting one tool at a time. And then I also have a help desk channel. So all the tools that I'm building and that my VAs are using, they all have a little message bot on the tool we've built for them. They're all web-based tools. And they can, whenever they have an issue with the tool, it's not working properly, it's not functioning properly, or they're bugged, they report that to the help desk icon that's on that page that they're working on. It pulls in their order data, it pulls in the ticket number, it pulls in what app they're using, what tool they're using, and then it goes to the help desk troubleshooting channel on Discord, where it's actively monitoring it via a cron job, heartbeat, and it's every 15 minutes checking in there for new tickets. It finds a ticket or a group of tickets, and then it starts trying to troubleshoot those tickets based off of kind of urgency. So it'll put them in order of urgency based off of what it knows about the business and what we need to operate, and then it'll go ahead and start attacking those one by one. It'll then send me an alert on my Telegram that says, hey, we worked through these 10 bug fixes. What is your input on this? Does this solution meet your standard? Are you ready to ship it? Click on ship, and then all of a sudden, all of my issues are solved in those particular tools. So again, like each chat, Telegram, Discord channel, WhatsApp, whatever you're using to talk with your OpenClaw agent, it needs to be segmented out to where you're not getting context for 12 different things you're working on in one session. Each channel has its own session and its own session brain or context. Another thing this person didn't do was they didn't install Lossless Cloud. So when I first started using OpenClaw, my frustration was I would brain dump 6, 7, 8 hours of work into a chat session. I'd hit like, okay, let's go ahead and ship this, or let's go ahead and build this now. And it would say, what are we working on? It would totally forget what it was that we were working on 5 minutes ago. And that's because the compaction of OpenClaw basically takes 10,000 words. Let's just use this as an example. 10,000 words, it compacts it into bullet points and is missing all of the meat and potatoes of whatever it is that you're working on. So what Lossless Cloud does, which to my knowledge, Lossless Cloud is like the only skill that Peter Steinberger has actually promoted on Twitter, who's the founder of OpenClaw. So again, most of the skills, if you haven't seen my other videos, most of the skills I see and I want to test, I will send that to OpenClaw and say, hey, here's a cool skill. How can we repurpose this, or how can we rebuild this for our in particular use cases, so that we're not working around a particular skill, we're making a skill and the theory behind and the logic behind that skill work for our particular brand, right? That's kind of really important. We want things to fit into our workflow, not change our workflow based on the skills or tools that we're building. So anyways, Lossless Cloud. Since I installed Lossless Cloud when it came out maybe 3 weeks ago now, I have not noticed one single session compaction. So meaning I'll work on one project for 3, 4, 5 hours throughout the day, and multiple channels, Discord channels, Telegram, whatever, and I won't see any sort of compaction because A, I'm segmenting out each topic, area, whatever, into its own session by using the Discord channels. And then I'm using Telegram as a catch-all, and then kind of like the alert system for me to like be checking one thing. And I've not, like I said, in 3 weeks I've been using it, I have not had one session compaction. And then with Lossless Cloud, when the sessions are compacted, it's storing all of the extremely valuable data in full context as well, instead of just bullet points that misses a lot of that important context of 6 hours of development work or 6 hours of troubleshooting or building something out, etc. So if you are just getting started with OpenClaw and you're finding it extremely frustrating that the compactions are losing all of your memory and it seems like it's stupid, you want to make sure that you're using Lossless Cloud and you have like one session chat, meaning one session for each Discord channel, one session for your Telegram channel, etc., where you're speaking to OpenClaw so that it keeps on topic all the time and you're not going full ADHD. Because like OpenClaw is a mirror, right? Or it's a duplicate of the user. So if in your brain you have ADHD and you're dropping, 10, 15, 20 ideas a day into one chat session, into one area of your brain, you're getting confused yourself, which is why you want OpenClaw in the first place. But if you're giving your OpenClaw ADHD by having 20 different topics going on one single channel or one single session, you're just going to give your OpenClaw ADHD as well, which we don't want that. We want OpenClaw to be obviously precise and accurate and memorize things that we don't remember and complete goals and objectives that we can't complete ourselves, right? That's the whole purpose of OpenClaw. So a lot of the ADHD people saw OpenClaw, they bounced to it, they jumped to it, they want to test it out, but they're just giving their OpenClaw bad memory, ADHD, and not the ability to complete tasks. Now the other thing is tokens. So I'm using Claude OAuth still. I'm not paying for API tokens per se individually on the OpenClaw actual setup. I'm still using OpenClaw OAuth, Claude OpenClaw, Anthropic OAuth that still works. And I'm only using that as the orchestrator level. So I have trained my OpenClaw agent now that anything that isn't orchestrating or deep thought or strategizing goes to sub-agents that I'm using my Codex or ChatGPT $20 a month plan for. Now, since I've done this, I've put all my cron jobs, all my heartbeats, those are on lower models. So some are running on Sonnet, some are running on ChatGPT, some are running on Gemini, some are running on XAI, depending on what the use case is. But you want to free up and really maximize your usage case study, or you really want to maximize how much you can speak to Opus 4.6, Anthropic's smartest model, just for orchestrating, for strategizing, for deep thinking sessions. Okay, so all of my main agents inside of each session, so Discord channels or Telegram, are running on 4.6. And then when work needs to be done, whether that's through a build, through a heartbeat, whatever, that's all happening via ChatGPT 5.4 Codex, or I'm using Sonnet, or I'm using Gemini XAI, depending what that is. So if you do those 4 things, your OpenClaw performance will literally shift 180 degrees from where you're at right now if you're having those issues with memory compaction, not using lossless claw, and then having one main Telegram chat for the 20 different projects that you're working on. Because what I have noticed about everyone I've talked to who's using OpenClaw, they're using it for not just one thing, they're trying to do all sorts of things. And then as you're using OpenClaw, it's giving more ideas for more tools to build, more projects to launch, more use cases as it unlocks, that area of your brain where it's like, oh, I thought OpenClaw was this, but after using it for 7 weeks consecutively, now you realize it can do way more than you initially thought. So you're giving it more tasks, more tools, more things to build out. And then the last tip I would say is, if you haven't installed OpenClaw yet, go ahead, just do it. Like, people are comparing it to Claude Code and Codex. They all have their own different use cases, but I'm telling you right now, OpenClaw right now is a leader in the game if you're looking for a 24/7 AI employee that does work while you sleep. Mine is set up to work when I'm using it or not. I don't need to prompt it in order to get it to do something. Via cron jobs and heartbeats, it is working 24/7 and building my future business, is building my current business. And it's just pretty crazy, all the things that we've had it do so far in just 7 weeks. It's been way more productive than any employee, and I've hired dozens of employees and developers and whatever to get these tasks done. They're finally getting done, and they're getting done in a short amount of time, which means I can focus on the real revenue drivers of the business, and not to get stuck in the weeds trying to figure out why a developer can't do this or bottlenecking this and that. Last tip, start small with OpenClaw. You can do everything you want it to do, right? But start small. So my process was start with, it's $200 a month for Claude OAuth, right? The Pro Max plan. Can I get it to replace $200 in fees I'm already paying for? So naturally I went to Zapier subscriptions. Can I replace Zapier? Can I replace N8N? Can I replace Shopify apps that I'm paying for? I started there. Then I moved on to, can I replace employees? Can I replace staff? Can I reduce the billable hours that my VAs are charging me pay per hour? So did all that. Now I'm on the front end of it where I'm having it create ads for me, UGC, customer UGC, videos and photos. I'm having it monitor and decide which ad sets and campaigns to keep or kill or scale up or scale down depending on the KPIs and the performance in those ad accounts. And right now it's just recommending me things to keep, things to kill, things to scale up, things to scale down. But in the future, I'm going to give it full access to run the entire ad account without me having me touch it. Right now, we're doing a shadowing where it's making recommendations to me. And if I approve, I thumbs up the recommendation. If I disapprove, I tell it why I disapprove. So I'm building its logic around how I, am a media buyer, what KPIs I'm looking at, what data sets I'm looking at in terms of how long do we just, how long of a window, is it a 3-day, 7-day, 14-day period before we decide to turn something up, turn something off, keep, kill. And then moving forward now, I'm building out apps that are replacing what it already automated. So Trello, Asana, Notion, there's an app called Proofer, emails, SMS, all that kind of stuff. I was plugging it into my current tools that I use for my production, and now I'm having it replace those tools, saving me even more money. So if you want to get started with OpenClaw, whether that's to reduce your bills monthly on apps you're already using that you can build for yourself and self-host, do so. If you want to replace some employees or reduce the billable hours that they have on their plates, they can focus on more important things and wasting 7 hours a day inside of Gorgeous for customer support emails, do it. And then start building on to the future, which is revenue growth and really driving more revenue through things like ad testing, creative iterations, and then running your ad accounts, your email campaigns, your Gorgeous customer support, et cetera, et cetera. All right, if you got enjoyed out of the video, hit the like button below. We'll see you on the next one. All things OpenClaw, I am all in right now. So if you have any questions, drop them below. I'll be happy to answer them. Start small, dream big, keep going, keep pushing. As always, keep on testing. Peace.